Okay, now we're going to start the afternoon, the second part of the morning. We're going to start with Adam Kelinson. Adam is he's known as the performance chef, and he's written a terrific book, actually, which I'm going to be giving away after his talk. And depending on how good his talk is, there's going to be more enthusiasm about getting his book, and it's signed. And he has written a book called The Athlete's Plate: Real Food for High Performance. So Adam, welcome, and he's going to talk to us 10 minutes on real food for high performance.
Hi folks, how you doing? It's all right? Good, Jordan? In the hole here? All right, good. All right, so what can I cook to keep myself healthy is the question. It's a question all athletes want to know. The answer is really simple. You get to eat a lot, and you get to eat a lot of different things as well. But it's the execution that's a challenge for most athletes, right? Because the problem that I come across with a lot of athletes that I work with is they think either they found the miracle food that they eat all the time, consistently every day, they're looking for that miracle food to eat every day, or it's performance in a pill. All those things, one, leave your palate kind of wanting a lot of different foods, leave your body nutrient deficient, and leave your performance subpar. So the thing to understand is your sports nutrition plan is only as good as your daily nutrition plan. You can't get to the finish line unless you have a solid foundational base of your diet on a daily basis. But what does that mean? The athlete's diet is broken down into a number of different components. Proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. You want about 50 to 55% carbohydrates, 20 to 25% fats, 10 to 15% proteins, right? That's your base diet. That varies depending upon what season you're in. But those are just the macronutrients. You're also looking at micronutrients as well. So you need trace minerals, micronutrients. You also need essential fatty acids. Okay? But how does that work? Okay? So let's break it down. For carbohydrates, you're looking at overall, you want quality. And those quality needs to be based on whole foods that are local and as seasonal as possible, because that's going to give you the highest nutrient density, the most flavor, and the easiest preparation. So let's take carbs for instance, okay? A lot of people are eating lots of processed and refined carbs. The better alternative, if you want to keep yourself healthy, is to eat whole grains. Things like quinoa, things like brown rice, red rice, wild rice, kasha, soba noodles. All these whole grains as well also address the gluten issue. Also, it's the high processed, refined white flours and pastas and white rices and things like that that all are pro-inflammatory and have a lot of gluten in them. Whole grains, like the ones that I mentioned, address both of those issues. You also get plenty of great vitamins and minerals in the whole grains because they haven't been stripped and processed of the things that you needed. Fats, really important, include 20-25% of your diet, and those include essential fatty acids. So those things come from your meats, your high quality meats. You need saturated fats. They help keep your cell walls stable. You also need things like coconut oil, okay? Coconut oil helps you burn fat. It's a medium chain triglyceride. It increases your metabolism. It helps you burn fat. Plant-based sources, again, flax oil, safflower oil, avocado oil, okay? For an animal source, you can look at fish oils as well. Fish oils, and those include your omega-3s. Okay? Fish oils are anti-inflammatory, and they also help the overall functioning of the thyroid, which helps the overall functioning of the body and helps the overall functioning of your performance. All those things, again, will help keep your body healthy, so it gets you to the place where you can train efficiently and compete effectively. Proteins. These proteins need to come from high-quality places as well. So you're looking for grass-fed proteins, hopefully, that are local and come from a farmer, that small farm that you know of. Try to stay away from these large processed and manufactured proteins that come from confined animal feeding operations. They're fed lots of synthetic foods, okay? So you're going to get that nutrition that comes into the animal is what gets put back into your body. So if you're looking at grass-fed animals, okay, that whether it's beef, it's pork, it's fish, all of those are fine. More plant-based proteins you can find in nuts, you can find in bee pollen, you can find in plenty of your vegetables as well. So those are your macronutrients, but along with that, you also need the micronutrients to go along with it, with those to support the macronutrients. But where do those things come from? Those things come from your local seasonal vegetables, those fresh sprouts that are packed with enzymes, packed with things that help with your digestion. You're looking at sea vegetables as well. Lots of trace minerals from the sea that are electrolytes, help build the foundation of your diet on a daily basis. That'll, like I said, get you to the starting point that you can then act from to increase your training and your performance. They also include your electrolytes as well. And as I mentioned before, your essential fatty acids are super important. So, what to cook to keep yourself healthy? You cook a lot of things, okay, in a diverse format. And if you take all of these things and you have them with you in your pantry, then you can use them effectively. Local seasonal vegetables, they don't need a lot of preparation, okay? They've got tons of flavor, tons of nutrients in them, and to cook them extensively requires a lot of time on your part and also diminishes the nutrient value in those, okay? So, like I said, how to keep yourself healthy. Focus on those main things. Your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, your trace minerals, and your essential fatty acids. Get it from local sources that are seasonal, hopefully organic, and that'll give you the foundation that you need to get to the finish line. You guys got any questions? I'm at booth 102, right next to the USAT. Come and ask them, and we'll see you there.
There you go. Let's have a couple questions here. By the way, I'm going to auction off or trivia off one of his books right now. His books. How do you know? I'll start with one. How do you know if an animal is, like, you go to a restaurant? How do you know if it's a grass-fed animal if you're getting like a steak?
What I like to tell folks is, if you want to have an effective nutritional plan, you have to be a participant in your own nutrition, which means you got to ask. You have to inform yourself. Okay? Asking as many questions as you can is the best way to go. The other thing is, if you're eating from a restaurant, then you're outsourcing your nutrition. Try and source your own foods and cook for yourself, and that's the best way to keep yourself healthy. You know where your products come from.
And give us some questions. Any chef-related questions? Yeah, go ahead there.
So what is the question exactly? I'm sorry? I take it organic. Okay, over the past 50 years, as a result of the agricultural practices that exist on a widespread scale across the country, we have lost about 50% of the nutrient value of our food. Okay? As a result of, like I said, with the proteins before, vegetables that are produced on a large scale and that are not organic have synthetic inputs to them, synthetic fertilizers, and they're being fed synthetic chemicals. That's what the plant uptakes, as opposed to being organically fed with fresh nutrients from the soil, the minerals that come from the soil, and the positive elements that come from the earth. That's the distinction. So, as opposed to 50 years ago, as opposed to today, let's take spinach for instance. 1 cup of spinach 50 years ago equals about 25 cups of spinach today.
Well, last question right here, yep.
Can you cook in bulk and freezing? That is a method that one can employ from time to time. The thing is that you run into eating the same thing quite often if you do that. So it's not like you want to make a big vat of something and think that that's your miracle meal and you can freeze that and eat that on a daily basis. No, but you can freeze certain components, especially if you take vegetables that are in their high season, okay, and you freeze them quickly. You can use them throughout the time when they may not necessarily be available, and freezing does retain nutrients in a positive way. So it is something you can incorporate into your overall diet, but I wouldn't freeze one meal that I can eat consistently, on a daily basis.